Okay, let's dive into a pretty fascinating and maybe just a little bit uncomfortable idea. We're going to talk about using artificial intelligence to try and re-engineer one of the toughest human interactions there is, the apology. What if a machine could actually help us say, "I'm sorry," better than we can on our own?
But first, just think about it for a second. What really makes an apology work? Think about the last time somebody apologized to you. Did it actually make things right, or did it just feel kind of hollow? That feeling, right there, that gap between the words and what they actually accomplish, that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
Because let's be honest, we have all gotten that empty apology. You know the one. It kind of checks a box, but it doesn't actually fix anything. It's this total communication failure that can somehow leave things even worse than they were before.
And the funny thing is, these failed apologies all sound so similar, don't they? They use really vague language like, "I'm sorry for whatever happened." Or they make it all about their feelings. "I just feel so awful about this." But the absolute classic, my favorite, is the non-apology. "I'm sorry if you were offended." You see how that subtly puts the blame right back on you? They all miss the mark for the exact same reason. There's just no substance.
So what's really at the heart of all these bad apologies? Well, the argument is that we've gotten a little obsessed with the performance of an apology. We're so focused on the sentiment, on how sorry someone sounds or seems.
And this is where you can really see two totally different ways of thinking about it. On one hand, you've got the sentimental style. This is all about expressing regret, right? Using emotional words, but offering zero concrete solutions. And then there's a completely different approach, one built on tangible actions. This one isn't about how you feel, it's about what you're going to do. It focuses on actually repairing the harm with specific steps you can see and measure. And that's really the only way you can create genuine accountability.
So, if we humans are so often, bad at this, what's the solution? Well, this is where a really radical idea comes into play, the algorithmic apology.
Now let's be super clear here. This is not about having a robot feel sorry for you. The whole point is to bridge communication gaps. The AI isn't there to fake emotion. Think of it more like a tool. It's a tool designed to draft a better, more effective response by focusing only on those tangible actions we were just talking about.
So how would this even work in the real world? Well, the process isn't really about saying sorry at all. It's about drafting something called an offer of repair.
The whole thing is incredibly logical. First, the AI would analyze the conflict. It could use natural language processing to figure out what the core problems are in a conversation, cutting through all the emotional noise. Then, step 2. Based on that analysis, it would pinpoint concrete things that could actually be done to fix the problem. And finally, step 3, it would draft a super clear message that presents these actions as that offer of repair.
And this right here, this is the most important part. The goal is not to fake sincerity, it's to engineer effectiveness. It's about shifting the entire purpose of an apology away from a performance of regret and towards a practical, constructive proposal. It basically changes the question from, how do I show I'm sorry, to, okay, what can I do to make this right?
And when you make that shift, well, it has a really powerful result. It lets us actually engineer something that's so often missing from our person-to-person apologies. Real, measurable accountability.
At the end of the day, this is the big takeaway. When an apology is just a clear list of actions, it basically becomes a contract. It's a promise. The person making the offer can be held accountable for actually doing those things. We move past just words and into the world of actual, provable change.
Which leaves us with a pretty provocative question, doesn't it? Could it be that the most effective, most healing, most accountable apologies don't need human emotion at all, but instead the cold, objective logic of a machine? It really forces us to ask what we truly want from an apology. Is it the comfort of a shared feeling, or is it the certainty of a fix? And maybe the bigger question is, can we ever really have both?